Happy holidays, everyone, and happy almost New Year 2025. I am honored, as always, to spend this time with you every year. I like to take 30 minutes or so to get with my friends, followers, family, and fans. You humble me. And I like to spend some time sharing with you a little bit of what I've learned in the year that's ending as we go into the next year. I want to give people a moment to join the live feed. It's being streamed out through my YouTube channel. And welcome. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do at IamSophiaNelson.com on YouTube. And I promise you that in January, we will be able to have this streamed out through Twitter and everything else. Like all of you, I'm still learning the technology and how to use it properly and use it efficiently. So we're going to give people a moment to join us on this live stream, but it will be recorded, obviously, and we will make sure that we feed it out on all of my platforms. Hope everyone had a great holiday and that you're getting some rest so that you can reset for your new year ahead. I was fortunate enough to get some downtime over Thanksgiving. You probably saw the photos down at the beach in South Carolina in my beloved low country. Got to spend some really good quality time in the off season just before Thanksgiving and through Thanksgiving. As you know, it's a lot chillier down on the coast in November. Most people go in that April through September timeframe, but if you haven't tried it, make sure you hit the beach after October. It's an experience you should try. The weather's cooler, but the beach is much quieter, and it's a really wonderful time to get away and rest and reflect. Again, we're going to give people a chance to pop on, and then we're going to get started. I like to keep these master classes tight, as you know. The goal of a master class, or a TED Talk, if you will, is to give you something to take away, to walk away with something. You've learned something. You've got some tools. You've got something that you can work with that helps you to get to your next now. Does that make sense? So my goal is to talk a little bit about where we are, what the topic is, what we're dealing with, not just you and me, but all of us. We're in a very unique time at the end of 2024, going into 2025, and we're going to talk about that. And then I'm going to give you some real easy, real simple, real doable, achievable things that you can incorporate into your life starting tomorrow. And if you will be consistent about them, watch what happens this time next year. Just watch. All right, we're going to get started here. I'm going to try to do this without my glasses on because I hate wearing them. It makes me look like such a professor, although I am that. I like to be relatable and just to be here with you in a very relaxed setting as we are. You can see I'm in my living room, standing by my fireplace. By the way, I decorated that for the holidays. They let me do the fireplace and the stockings, and my mom loves to do the trees. You've seen the trees. They're always gorgeous. That's her thing. And it's been a good Christmas, and we're all looking forward to the new year, as I hope all of you are. So let's get started here. First of all, let's do this again. Welcome everyone to the 2025 Be the One You Need Masterclass. Every year, I like to set aside some time to spend with you one-on-one directly and share with you a little bit about what I've learned through this year and what I think is important going into the next year. Now, everyone who's watching live and who will watch throughout the course of this on demand over the next days and weeks and months, each of you is on a different journey. Each of you is dealing with different things. So I want to be clear that nothing that I'm going to say is a one size fits all, because that's not the way life works. Each of you has unique things and challenges and obstacles that you're dealing with, or storms that you're coming through, or maybe you're in a really good season and you are, just getting married, or you're about to start your family, or you've got a great new job, or you're going to travel abroad for a while, or even travel domestically, whatever it is and wherever you are. I promise you that the two things we're going to talk about today are important. They matter, And they are something that you will deal with, whether you're a young person right now, whether you are an emerging young adult going into, again, your 30s and your 40s, or if you're at midlife like me, or later going into your senior years, active senior years, and then going into your twilight years. We're going to talk about two things that are consistently a challenge for all of us, but very important to the core of being healthy and well and happy in your life. And those two things are time, your time, my time, and your peace, my peace. Time and peace. Those are our topics today. We are talking about reclaiming your time, reclaiming my time, and protecting your peace, protecting my peace, okay? So get your pens, your paper, your journals, your iPads, however you like to take notes, take notes. Yes, you can watch it again, but I'm an old believer in what the scripture says, write the vision down and make it plain. You got to write things down to remember them. You have to write things down it's an exercise that your brain engages in, from your brain to your being to what you go and then do. And when we write it down, there's something that really centers us and gives us more of an outlook as to how we can achieve it. So I want to encourage you to take notes, because as I said, of all the things we deal with in our lives, of all the experiences we will have in our lives, of all the people we will meet in our lives, from the beginning until the end, two things we wrestle with every day. That is time management. What do I do with my time? Who is worth my time? What is worth my time? And protecting your peace of mind, your peace of being, your peace to just be still when you need to be, to write, to get things done, to just reset. And in this world that we live in now, constant motion, constant crazy, constant busy, constant pinging and ringing and texting and not talking anymore. We DM, we text, we might send an email, but our communication has changed dramatically. I was going to say drastically, dramatically over the last decade. Dramatically. It's not what it was even 10 years ago. And 20 years ago is unbelievably different. Okay? So get those pens and paper out. I know that you may think that's arcane, young people, but trust me on this. Start writing things down. It matters. All right, so let's set the table. 2024 is over in just 2 days. Today is December 30th, 2024. That means that we have one more day tomorrow, which is New Year's Eve, and then we're in January. We're in a new year. This has been a difficult year here in the United States. In fact, I would venture to say it's been a difficult year around the globe for those of you who watch globally and who follow me overseas. This has been a challenging year here at home in the United States, however, because we have a lot of division and a lot of rancor and a lot of division that is causing difficult discourse. It is causing people not to talk. It is causing people to get in their corners and not respect others' points of view. It is dividing families. It's hurting dating relationships. We're going to talk about all that. But 2024 here for us in the United States, we had a presidential election and we have elected a new president, and Donald John Trump will be the next president of the United States of America come January 20th, 2025. I was a Kamala Harris supporter, as many of you know. She's my sorority sister. She's the sitting vice president. And I was really hopeful that America might elect our first female commander in chief, but alas, it was not to be. And instead, and I think this is really important because it speaks to what I'm going to talk about with you today, about if you feel like you're kind of in the dumps or you've stopped watching the news. I can't tell you how many people have literally checked out of mainstream media, whether it's CNN, MSNBC, whatever it is you watch. People have stopped watching since the election. People feel disappointed. They feel betrayed. They're angry. You've got one half of the country that is excited and feels like this country is gone too far with wokeness and DEI and all the things that are said that just are very divisive. And then you've got another part of the country that feels just the opposite, like freedoms are being taken away from women, reproductive freedoms, that all the gains we made in the last 50 years are now in jeopardy. These are deep issues and they impact the way we work. They impact our relationships. They impact our friendships. All of us have just come through the holidays, right? Thanksgiving and Christmas. How many articles did you read from Vanity Fair magazine to the Atlantic to the LA Times to the Washington Post that talked about the fact that people didn't know if they can invite certain relatives to dinner because of the politics? They didn't literally want to have dinner with an aunt who was a Trump supporter or with the liberal college student that was the Harris supporter. Whatever it is, we've all been through it. And what it has done is it has really worn us out. It's exhausted us. It's made us feel tired. We're worried. We're weary. Not everybody, but too many of us. And how do we know this? We know this because the Surgeon General of the United States, the one right now, just released a report the other day that really shook me, to be honest, because the findings are consistent with what I'm telling you. But when you look at the data and you look at the numbers, you realize we have a very serious problem. And that's why I wanted to talk about your time and your peace. Because if you want to get on the other side of this thing, and if you want a happier, healthier, wholer, healed life, you've got to be intentional about reclaiming your time from things that you don't need to give your time to. And you've got to be intentional about protecting your peace in order to get to and follow through on your purpose. Okay. So let me open with the thought. I tweeted this out and it got an unbelievable response. Sometimes it's funny, the things that you tweet out, just kind of thinking out loud or share, really resonate with literally millions of people. And sometimes the stuff that you really spend a lot of time putting out there, people really don't connect with. And I pay attention to those things. And what I said was simply this: the greatest wealth isn't money, folks, or things or status. The greatest wealth isn't money or things or status. The greatest wealth you will ever have, that I will ever have, is good mental health, and clarity of purpose. Good mental health and clarity of purpose. As my grandmother used to say, health is wealth. Health is wealth. I know you've heard that before. If you're over 45, you've heard health is wealth. It's something the old folks used to say, and they were right. And I think it's important to kind of park here for a moment as we're talking about time and peace, because nothing will disrupt your time and your peace more than not being emotionally and mentally healthy and stable and clear and fulfilled and happy. You're not going to feel that way every day. So hang that up. Young people, another masterclass for another day on that one. It is not a state of perpetual being to be happy. So let's throw that out the door. But we have to be intentional about using our time wisely, giving our time wisely, and protecting that peace that we all need. All of us needs to have peace. And we may have different definitions of that. We're going to talk about it. But your time and your peace, they're wealth. It's how you generate wealth. It's how you generate success. It's how you build good relationships. It's how you build happiness and healthiness and wholeness. So let me set a few ground rules, and I'll go through what I go through every year because it's important. Again, these are my thoughts that I'm sharing with you. These are my nuggets that I'm giving to you. Ultimately, you have to decide what you take from this, but I want you to take something from this. Number one, do not engage in New Year's resolutions, because 92% of people that will make resolutions starting today or tomorrow or next week, by mid-February, 92% of people will have walked away from not one, two, three, or four of them, all of them. New Year's resolutions aren't what you need. You need a plan and you need to be resolved. This year, I'm encouraging you to focus on two things, your time and your peace, because everything else will fall into line if you get those two things into alignment. The second thing is that I want to talk to you about the 3 C's. I mention the 3 C's every year because the 3 C's work when you put them into practice. The first C is choice. You do have a choice. You may not feel like you do. Somebody might have told you you didn't, but you do have a choice. Every day you wake up, you have choice. And once you make a choice about where you want your life to go, what you value, what you need, what you care about, and what you want, when you make that choice, you've got to do the second thing, which is you got to commit to it. The reason those New Year's resolutions fail is because folks don't commit. They write down a bunch of stuff that sounds good or that they saw on the internet or on Instagram that somebody else told them. They bought a bunch of books that they didn't read and they jotted something down, but they weren't committed to it. You got to be committed to your choice. Committed to your choice. And then the third thing is, one of the biggest keys to success in life is being consistent, showing up every day and working that choice and working that commitment consistently and doing what you need to do to get to where you want to go, or doing what you need to do to get your health better, doing what you need to do to make your marriage better, doing what you need to do to thrive in your goals and in your dreams better. 3 C's: choice, commitment, consistency. The last thing that I want to have on the table before we go forward is that the first rule of success in 2025 is to not bring in the mess from 2024. Now, some of you are saying, Sophia, that's not going to be easy. No, it really is, because you just have to make a choice. It doesn't mean that there won't be problems or that there's not what I like to call a hangover from the previous year, and not because you were drinking, but because you may have people in your life who are not healthy or happy or whole. You may be dealing with challenges in your marriage, with your kids, at your job, with your aging parents. Boy, that's a tough one. And you've got to constantly be in this battle to take care of you as you're trying to take care of everybody else. But what I want to say to you is, don't lug that stuff with you. Make a decision that it is a new year and you can have a new start. And even if you can only change one thing and work on one thing because that's all the bandwidth you have, choose that, commit to that, be consistent about that, and then take some time between today and the weekend. Today and the weekend. Just take some time, take a walk, and reflect on this past year. Ask yourself what went right, what went wrong. Ask yourself what it is that you really liked about this year and what it is that you didn't like about this year. And then do your best not to dwell on it, not regret it, not beat yourself up about it, but do yourself a favor and learn from it. Understand it the best that you can, and then work towards making this new year different. I want to go back to a point I mentioned earlier about a report that the Surgeon General put out. And again, the findings were stunning. I will put the links out on my social media. They're already there, but I'll make sure to reiterate them and to share them so that you have them. But this report found that nearly 50%, I said 50% of Americans surveyed report a sense of loneliness, isolation. Of course, both of those are exacerbated by what I talked about: political differences, cultural divides, divides at work, fights over things that we may feel passionate about, that other people feel equally passionate about on the other end of the spectrum, and then we're butting heads. But a recent and more troubling phenomenon that was found that really struck me because I've dealt with it in my own family is the generational divide and the attitudes about well-being, mental health and wellness, emotional well-being, unhealed family trauma, family dysfunction, and values. These statistics tell us what we already feel, as I mentioned at the outset, deep down. We all see it happening around us. We know that the devices have us captivated. We know that our communication is broken down. We're all worried about our young people because they've grown up with nothing different than this. This is their reality. iPads and iPhones and texting and DMing and video games. That's their reality. Streaming right here in their hands. That's not the reality of those of us who are Gen Xers or millennials or baby boomers and older. That's not what we grew up with. We grew up in a world where we had to talk, where we had to be resilient, where we had to communicate. And so we're all feeling this big disconnect, which is why I wanted to talk about time and peace. Let me, before I get to my nuggets and then we're done, say a few things. When I'm talking about time and peace, I don't want you to think about it in the way you might understand it. I'm talking about balance. And balance is achievable and it is critical in our day-to-day living. These past 3 years for me have been terrible, frankly. They were difficult, horrible, hard, downright just exhausting. I had a parent that had a myriad of health issues. So you're balancing caretaking, you're aging yourself, your body's changing as a woman as you're going through menopause. Another masterclass for another day. But please, on that topic, check out what Halle Berry and some of the celebrities, what they testified about on the Hill and what women are doing about making sure that we're talking about menopause and how it really affects us. So you're balancing your parents aging, you're balancing yourself aging. For those of you who are younger, stick with me. You are trying to succeed in your career. You're trying to buy a home. You're trying to start your family. You're dealing with all these competing things, and there's never going to be enough time in 24 hours to do it all. Never. So again, I want to disabuse you of two things. One, that there is some perfect state of happiness that exists. It does not. It is something you have to work at every day and understand that you're going to have bad days and you're going to have good days. And then the other thing is that you have to understand that you're going to have to balance things. And when you understand that, not only should you be a giver and someone that cares for others and looks out for others, that's a good thing. But you too must have the proper support. Your emotional needs must be met and heard. You must be cared for. You must be poured into. You need what you give. Women, I'm talking to us most of all. Black women, I'm explicitly talking to us. We are really, really bad at this. We're really, really unhealthy. It comes from an unhealthy balance of what we've learned in the church from the time we were little through now, that we could just pray it away or we just take all our worries to Jesus. I love Jesus. I talk to Jesus like everybody else. But if you need a therapist, you go see a therapist. If you need medication, you take medication. If you need to be healthier, you got to move your body, your mind, and your soul. You have to do your part. So it's really important that we rethink and reimagine simple terms like time and peace. And I guess the best advice that I can give you as I get into the nuggets that I want you to take away, and then we're done, is that I want to encourage you to stop pushing through and to start pushing back. Let me say that again. Stop pushing through and start pushing back. Some of you don't like that. You're going to need to embrace it. Because like I said, you need love, you need care, you need help, you need support, you need friends. You need people that look out for you. You need to be poured back into. You can't just live every day pushing through. I'm talking to me most of all. And it doesn't work. Your body will break down. Your mind will break down. Your relationships will break down. Everything will break down until you understand that your time and your peace are the most valuable, amazing, necessary assets that you have. So let's start with this. 3 questions that I want you to ask yourself right now. Write these down. I say them every year, and I'm going to say them every year until there's no more breath in my body. Number 1, ask yourself, what do I want? What do I want in 2025? Number two, what do I need? Wants and needs are different. What do I need? What do I need that I am not getting? What do I need? And then the last thing is, how am I feeling? Physically, emotionally, relationally, and spiritually. How am I feeling? Listen, there is no shortcut to this. You have to do the work. Again, what are the 3 C's? What are the 3 C's? We make a choice, we commit to that choice, and we are consistent about obtaining, achieving, changing, whatever it is, it's a choice we've made. We follow through and we're consistent about getting it done. So again, these 2 patterns, time and peace. Everybody talks about them nonstop, 24/7. Go on your Facebook, go on your Twitter, go on your Instagram, go on TikTok. What are people talking about? They're tired. They're exhausted. They don't want to be busy. They want to see the world. They want to travel. They want a meaningful relationship. They want meaningful connection. They want more and not more stuff. They want more of people. They want more love, more care, more fellowship, more friendship, more peace. People don't want drama in their lives. People don't want acrimony in their lives. That's why families are breaking apart, folks. The young folks, God bless them, they've got it right. I don't approve of their methods of just the cutoff and the block, the delete thing, because you have to talk about things, at least sit someone down and explain why you feel as you do. And then if they're not listening, then that's another story. Then you have a right to walk away and be done. But we do need to talk about things, and we do need to work through things, and we need to care. We need to care about ourselves, and we need to care about others. But the young people have it right in that they put mental health at the top of their list. It's a priority to them. It's a premium to them. They don't want to work all the time. They like to sleep. They like to chill. They don't dress up all the time. They're much more laid back than we were at their age. Some of that's good, some of that's not so good. But I think on balance, they aren't willing to be in family dysfunction. They aren't willing to deny that something's not okay. They aren't willing to stay in relationships that don't nurture them and feed them and grow them. And we can learn something from them. And I think they can learn something about resilience and devotion and loyalty and being long-suffering, not in a way that's detrimental to us and breaks us, but in a way that we're empathetic and not just sympathetic. I think we can learn from each other. So let's get into time and peace, and I'm going to do what I call rapid fire. So this is the stuff you want to take in and really get down. Number 1, time is not what they told you time is. And what do I mean by that? Time isn't just when I wake up, when I go to work, what I do, and when I do it. That's not what time is, folks. Time is not a checklist of to-dos or things not to do. Time is a precious gift. It's a resource. And it's the one thing that once we've lost it, we can never get it back. It's not recoverable because time keeps moving. And the thing about being human, wherever you live on this earth, wherever you're watching me from right now, the one thing about being fully human is that there's a time we are born and there's a time we will die. And we don't know when that continuum ends. We know when it begins, but we never know how much time we have. And I think if you're like me and you're in that middle age towards going towards senior status, you want to really protect your time because you know you don't have a whole lot of it left on your best journey. If you live to be 100 and you're 50, you got 50 years left. And most of us are not going to live to be 100. So I want you to think about time like this. Time is not what we do or what we don't do or when we go to the store, when we go to work, or when we sleep or wake up. Time is time off, time to breathe, time to think, time to sleep, time to heal, time to be heard, time to hear, time to love, time to be loved, time to hold, time to be held. You see what I did there? You're going to flip it on its head. You're taking time for the things that matter. that pour into you, that build you, that make you a better partner, a better wife, a better husband, a better mom, dad, grandparent, brother, sister, friend, sibling. Time is something that we have to treat as a valuable resource and not something that limits us or that frustrates us or exhausts us. Time is the most precious gift we have, and we don't talk about it enough, and we don't think about it enough, and we don't live it out enough. I want to encourage you in 2025 to make your time in the way I've just described it, through my lens, through the way that I want to live the rest of my days. Time is a resource, like a mineral, like water, like air. It is something that gives us life, not something that does us in and makes us sad and makes us aggravated, and that we are constantly striving to cram things into, and then we're miserable. Rethink the way you do time. Peace. What is peace? You think of the word peace, what do you think of? I always think of the Psalm, the 40th Psalm, as the deer pants for water, so my soul pants for you, O Lord. I think of a deer by the brook. He's thirsty and drinking his fill, filling himself. There's brooks, there's streams, there's trees, there's light, there's air. It's peaceful, right? That's what we think about when we think about peace. We think about walking on the beach at sunset. We think about quiet, a cup of coffee in the morning before we start our day. We think about peace the same way we do time. We try to quantify it and put it in a box, but that's not what peace is. Peace is inside of you. And it has to be cultivated around you, or you will have no peace. Trust me, I know of what I speak. Peace is something that every day you have to protect. And you do that by setting healthy boundaries for yourself and for others. And then you do what? You choose the boundary, you commit to the boundary, and you do what? You're consistently enacting and enforcing that boundary. Peace, folks, is not a thing that you touch or do. Peace is a state of mind. It's a state of being. It's not a temporary place that we go like I did when I went down to the beach for 10 days. That was great, but I had to come back home. And home has chaos, and home has things that I don't like, and work has things that drive me crazy. And so if you don't carry that peace in you and you don't know how to protect that peace every day, you will lose the peace that you so desperately seek. And I think it's something that all of us want. So as we wind down now and I end this masterclass about time and peace, I wrote out a few things that I'm going to encourage you. I'm going to encourage you and myself to affirm, whether you're going to write them out, you're going to put them on a whiteboard, on a vision board, whatever you like to do that helps you set your focus for the year ahead. I want you to think about these affirmations. And these are just some things I wrote down throughout the course of this year in my journal. I went back and I looked, and I kept seeing the same thing show up over and over and over again, which means that I knew what I wanted. I knew what I needed. I knew how I was feeling, but I was suppressing and not engaging myself because I had obligations, I had duties, other people had needs. There was a lot going on around me, and that's the wrong thing to do. And I am not going to do it ever again in my life. I am not. And I'm going to be very firm with people, even people I love deeply, that if you cross my boundaries, we're going to have a problem. I won't cross yours, don't cross mine. One of the life lessons in Be the One You Need that was very popular was number 12, and that's do no harm, take no shit. Now, for those of you that are my Christian followers, take a deep breath. I love Jesus, but I do cuss a little, and you guys know that. You've been following me for any length of time, you know that. But I put that one in there, the do no harm, take no shit, to drive a point, because it's really simple, right? And there's an acronym that I came up out of that I think will help you. And then I want to share with you one of my favorite Christmas gifts that I got. And the acronym is get your shit together. Of course, that's a sentence, but the acronym get your shit together is the word shit. So how does that break down? And some of you are like laughing right now. You're like, I don't believe Sophia is actually going to do a masterclass on the word SHIT. Well, no, I'm not. But what I'm going to do is kind of give you something to think about and have a little bit of laughter in your soul as well. Because I think sometimes we are way too serious and we are way too, mercurial about things instead of just looking at things and saying, I need to laugh about this and I need to just think about this in the most simplistic terms. The S is for self-help, self-care. The H is for healing. The I is for independence. And that independence means it gets back to that making a choice. And the T is put in front of that dealing with your trauma. So getting your shit together means that you've got components. Again, like I said, there is no silver bullet. You gotta do the work. Some of you, I watch you, and I'm not gonna call names because some of you are famous people, but you've been riding the same trick pony over and over and over again for decades now. And that stuff isn't working. People need authenticity. People need transparency. And most of all, we need those things from ourselves. I am going to stop looking for whatever I need in other people because it doesn't exist. It only exists in me. And I would encourage you to do the same. So this list that I've put together, I think will help you. And again, these are some affirmations that you can write down and really think about over the course of the next month, because I would encourage you to really get yourself focused and ready in January so that you can February through December, again, whatever choices you make in January, commit to them and then go and do them February through December. It gives you 11 months to do whatever it is you decide you need fixed, healed, tended to in your life. It gives you 11 months. That's a long time. A lot can happen in a month. A whole hell of a lot can happen in 3 months and 6 months. 11 months is a lifetime. First one, focus on myself, my needs, my wants first. Mothers, you don't want to hear this. Wives, husbands, you're going, that's not possible. Yeah, it is. It will make you a better wife. It will make you a better husband. It will make you a better parent. Focus on myself, my needs, my wants, and communicate them. If you're in a relationship, you've got to talk. You've got to share. You've got to collaborate. That's how you help yourself, and you're also helping your partner, your husband, your wife at the same time. Next, take care of my mental and physical well-being first. You see a pattern here? I keep talking about what has to come first. Folks, it's counterintuitive, but you have to be first because you can't help nobody when you are empty, tired, exhausted, and worn out. If you are tending to everybody but you and nobody's tending to you, you aren't going to be with us long. I know of what I speak. Take care of my mental and physical well-being first. Go to counseling. Get what you need because it helps you to be better for everybody else in your life. Next, nourish my body. I said nourish my body and my soul with what it truly needs. Where are you on your health journey? How is your body? Are you out of shape? Did you used to be athletic and now you're not? Did you let yourself put on too many pounds? Do you not have enough weight on? Have you not been eating well? Have you been eating a bunch of junk and a bunch of sugar? What are you doing? What are you putting into your body? And most of all, what are you putting into your soul? And by soul, I'm talking about that peace part now. I'm talking about the internal work. I'm talking about what's in you. And what do you need? Goes back to the 3 questions. Next, prioritize my happiness over people pleasing or perfection. No people pleasing, no perfection. Perfection doesn't exist. It's ridiculous. Get over it. Hang it up. You're never going to have it. People pleasing, you can stop anytime you want to. People pleasing stops anytime you want it to. Next, take breaks daily to rest, reset, and recharge. How do I do that, Sophia? I got 4 kids. I got this. I got that. I got a mortgage. I got a job. I got this. I got an aging parent. I got to go do this. Okay. Yeah. Okay. But how long do you think that's going to work before you have a heart attack or a stroke? And then what happens to your family? What happens to your job? What happens to your savings and your investments because you can't put into them anymore and now you have to draw down from them before you had a plan to retire? Folks, you can get sick at 17, at 27, at 35, at 40, at 45, at 50, at 60. Sick isn't something that happens when we get old. Sick happens from stress and distress. Sick happens from not taking care of you and me. Live in the present, not the past. This is a big one, and this is one I'm working on. The past is always with us. It doesn't just go away. Forgiveness doesn't just wipe something out. The past is our schoolmaster. It teaches us. It informs us. It helps us to know what we need to do better, who we don't want to be or who we do want to be, the things we like and the things we don't like. Use your past as a way to push forward. Don't stay stuck there. Focus on your present. Distractions. Get rid of distractions. They're distracting people. There's distracting things. Are you watching too much TV on your phone? Are you binge watching too many shows on Netflix? What are you doing with your time? Again, what are you doing with your time? Are you allowing other people's drama to distract you from the positive things in your life? I know I've done it way to my detriment. Over involved, over empathetic, over caring in unhealthy, dysfunctional ways. It is not our responsibility to fix other people. It is not. I don't care who they are. They have to fix themselves. Get rid of distractions because they destroy your destiny and your purpose. Choose balance over burnout. Balance over burnout. Again, these are pretty simple things that I wrote down throughout the year. The hustle and grind mentality, I'm going to get my grind on. Yeah, good luck with that. It'll end you up in the hospital. It'll end you up depressed. It'll end you up suicidal. The suicide rates in this country are the highest they have ever been. And it's not just with people that are adults. It's with children and teens, young people. The despair, the heaviness, because we're all doing too much and we're not prioritizing our time and our peace as our most valuable assets. And lastly, I want you to get rid of guilt. It's not your fault. And even if it was, forgive yourself. Give yourself some grace. And I'm talking to me. Don't take on things that don't have anything to do with you. Guilt robs you. It's corrosive. It destroys. And it weighs you down and it ruins time. It's a time stealer because you spend your time wallowing in things that you can't fix. It's done. Learn from it. Move on from it. Forgive yourself. If you're grieving right now and you lost someone you loved this year, or you lost something that you worked for this year, a business, whatever it was, give yourself time to grieve. Give yourself time to heal, but get help because you can't do it alone. I'm going to end by simply going back to 3 things, 3 C's. I'm going to end by saying that your time and your peace are your most valuable assets. Of all the things I could have talked about today, and there were many, I focused on time and peace because at my age now, I get it. I will never have enough time. So the time that I do have, I better make good use of it. And I better be a good steward of it. And I better be time conscious as it relates to the things that matter. Spending time with the people I love, spending time with myself, spending time pursuing goals and dreams and reading the books I want to read and doing the things that I want to do that are valuable. And then there's the peace. Do you have it? Because I know I've never had it my entire life. And maybe that's why it's so important to me now. there's been nothing but chaos since I can remember. And that's a hard thing. It takes a toll on you after a while. And I don't want it anymore. I want some peace and some quiet. That doesn't mean I'm checking out. It doesn't mean I'm not going to be engaged. That's not me. What I'm saying is make a choice today, through this next week. Choose just 2 things you want to be different this time next year. Just 2 things, not 10, not 5, 2. And then commit to it. And then be consistent about every day, every week, every month working toward it. Because you can't get there by just thinking about it and dreaming about it and wishing about it. Change happens when we choose. Change happens when we commit, and change happens when we're consistent. That's my 2025 masterclass for you. I hope that it's helpful. I hope that you can take, if just one thing out of here and it blesses you and helps you, I've done my job. But I felt very passionate about, when I say reclaiming my time, I'm taking my time back for Sophia. And I am going to be very, very protective of my peace. And that means the internal peace and the peace around me. Do a road check. Don't make me bring up the woman code here. You guys already know. Do a road check. That's a very good thing to do at the end of every year. Who's around me? Who uplifts me? Who celebrates me? Who supports me? Who's there for me? And likewise, you need to be reciprocal in that. It's not all about you or me. But think about who's around you. There are people that you and I know and love, and when we hear them coming, we want to run in the other direction. When we see their number come up, we send it to voicemail. We do it every day because we already know, not this person. They disrupt my peace. Think about that and then decide, is that somebody you need in your life? Is this good for you? Is this healthy for you? Reclaim your time. Protect your peace. God bless you. Happy New Year. Happy 2025. I look forward to seeing your comments and your feedback on social media. Take care now.